Hello everyone. Excuse me. It's me, Kyle, again. It's definitely been a minute. I just want to briefly talk about some videos I planned on making coming up soon. I want to make a video on my fantasy of WrestleMania 31. I also want to do a video. I also plan on doing a video on my review of Lucha Underground. They had their first two shows. Their first three shows that's been out, and I want to give my opinion on Lucha Underground, what I think of that. As well as also want to plan on doing a review of the new WWE 2K15 video game for next-gen consoles. I have it already pre-ordered for PlayStation 4. And I plan on making some other videos. I want to get back into talking about some video games as well on this channel. But then I also want to give my analysis on certain individual stars in WWE right now. And that includes on the main roster as well as NXT. So to start off with this, I guess you could say mini-series, I want to give my analysis and full thoughts on Seth Rollins and his current state right now in WWE. Seth Rollins was a guy that I thought in WWE wouldn't make it too far in the WWE because A, he was an internet darling, B, he had been in development for like at least 2 years. I think he's been the longest guy they've ever had in their FCW at the time / NXT developmental. I think Seth Rollins was the longest guy they've ever had there still. Been down there for like 2 years. And, Seth Rollins never came to me as having much of a personality, at least a personality that they would deem, as fitting, the WWE would look for. So I was always leery with Seth Rollins coming into WWE, and in terms of how far could he go. He made an impact with the Shield, and once they split the Shield up, again, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Where Seth Rollins is right now, I have to say Seth Rollins, out of all the new guys that are coming up from WWE, to even comparing him to the other two former Shield members, Ambrose and Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, I think, has one of the best spots on the entire roster right now as a young up-and-coming superstar. I think Seth Rollins has been very well protected by him being with, Triple H and this whole authority angle. He's been very well protected. Since he's joined, the authority and has turned heel, he hasn't really lost. You go back since the Shield broke up, the only time Seth Rollins ever lost a match clean, 1, 2, 3, was against Heath Slater, who was a jobber, who, by the way, no one's going to remember that him losing that one, fluke of a victory by Heath Slater. No one's going to remember that. So, he hasn't lost any matches. He's been very well protected. He's definitely toned down on, his high-flying wrist maneuvers, which I think some people can expect since he's a heel. To me, I don't think it really matters if your moveset changes or not being a heel, but whatever. Over the last, I'd probably say 2 months, Seth Rollins, they've put over his finisher move, the curve stomp, as the most dominant move in WWE. From taking out Dean Ambrose multiple times and, curb stopping him on, cinder blocks and bricks, to him taking out Randy Orton. So they're definitely trying to put over the curve stomp as the most dangerous move in WWE right now, and it's working. I like Seth Rollins a lot. I've always liked him. I'm glad to see him being used properly. I think he's one of the few people in terms of young talent that WWE brought on the roster that they have been using the right way. I think Seth Rollins has big plans for him, and I think Seth Rollins has been the strongest Money in the Bank holder we've had, I would say probably maybe since CM Punk's second run at the Money in the Bank briefcase, because Miz never looked very strong when he was a winner. Neither was Alberto Del Rio or Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan, you could probably say, was probably the weakest Money in the Bank participant that they booked. as he was holding the briefcase, at least. But Seth Rollins has looked very dominant, very strong as a Money in the Bank contender. So you got to figure when he does cash it in, which I'm going to get into detail about that in a separate video on my WrestleMania, how I will book WrestleMania 31 video, which I will do soon. I think once he cashes in his chips, I think the carriage is going to be behind the Seth Rollins horse, and he's going to pull it all the way. I said it once and say it again. Even though Roman Reigns may be their ideal guy, I still think Seth Rollins to me is a dark horse in terms of being, you know, the one. Even though he's a heel, but still, you know, put that carriage behind the workhorse that is Seth Rollins, and maybe if he turns babyface, you know, him having the push and the elevation that he's been having as a heel, when he finally does turn babyface, my God, you can just, you know, unleash the hinges at that point. So yes, this is just my thoughts on Seth Rollins. I like the way they're booking him. He looks strong. He looks great. Even though he's kind of a cowardly heel, I don't get much of a comparison to Edge or anything like that, where it's kind of like, oh, this is just kind of whack. They've made me like him as a cowardly heel, and I'm not too big on cowardly heels, but I've been a fan of them doing this with Seth Rollins because they made him look so dominant and strong. Anyway, so this is my analysis of Seth Rollins. I will get more to Seth's analysis of Dean Ambrose, and want to hit on him, Bray Wyatt, and my thoughts on him, what they're doing there. Adrian Neville, who, by the way, tonight will be defending his NXT title against Sami Zayn. I want to get my thoughts on Adrian Neville in particular, because I'm concerned about him on certain things, as he may be getting called up to the main roster soon. You guys give me your thoughts on Seth Rollins. Comment, subscribe. Peace.